morning, everyone. My name is Timothy Lee, and I'm a mining analyst here at Red Cloud Securities. We welcome Paul Cowley, President and CEO of Phenom Resources. Phenom was formerly known as First Vanadium and recently changed its name to reflect its focus. He will speak to us about Phenom's Carlin project in Nevada, which has the unusual situation of hosting a very interesting gold target located beneath a sizable vanadium resource. Paul, you will have 15 minutes to present, and then we'll have a 5-minute Q&A at the end of the session. And attendees, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A link below. Take it away, Paul.
Thank you very much, Tim. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you guys. Thank you very much for your attention and interest in Phenom Resources. We, as Tim mentioned, this is a very unique situation, having two minerals on the same property, two systems on the same property. It's a high-grade vanadium deposit at surface, and underneath it is a gold system. And we're right in the Carlin gold trend, so that makes it extremely intriguing. So I'm going to move forward. I'm going to make some forward-looking statements, but moving past. This is quite unique, as I say. It actually gives the investor an opportunity to invest in two commodity cycles. So the vanadium is a green energy metal. It's becoming more and more of a green energy metal, although it's still predominantly a steel hardener. The battery side is looking very, very interesting, and it's getting deployed. So you're investing in that in the green energy space, but also in a very exciting gold opportunity that's very, very significant. Coming back to the vanadium, this is a sizable deposit. It's the highest grade primary vanadium resource in North America. Its metal value in the ground at current metal prices is $3.4 billion US. And so it's a very significant one. Below that is this gold situation that we're looking to make a discovery this year on. And we're being led by a very successful geologist, well, two geologists that have made 10 gold deposit discoveries in their careers. So you've got very good people working on this project. Talk a little bit about the companies for some context. We're trading at about 76, 78 cents, 80 cents, 75 million shares outstanding. We've had a very good share performance here over the last 11 months, down at around the 20-cent mark. Now we're at much higher, and it's reflecting our gold initiative. We started about a year and a half ago and had lots of successes and deliveries that the market is very, very happy with. We did a raise as well, $6 million, so we've got adequate treasury here to explore this phenomenal gold opportunity. Turning to the project itself, we're very well located in northern Nevada in the Carlin Trend, as I mentioned. And that infrastructure that was in place, that's basically where Newmont and Barrick are operating in this joint venture. We're right in there. We're literally 13 miles away from the gold quarry, which is a 50 million ounce gold deposit. The communities of Carlin and Elko are mining-based communities, so socially as well as labor force are all there for a mining and exploration standpoint. All the vendors, drilling companies, mine and mineral supplier, mining and equipment suppliers are all there. Rail is right there, is 6 miles away from our project. So really blessed with tremendous infrastructure. This is there's a picture of the site. There's been lots of drilling on it for the vanadium resource. I'm going to talk about the vanadium aspect of it right now. There was a resource that's 380 million pounds of vanadium, and as I mentioned, at close to $9 a pound current price, that's a lot of value. This is a high-grade deposit. It's a black shale. It's flat line, shallow to flat lying, and near surface, so it's amenable to open pit mining. And the recoveries are about 80% recovery of the vanadium. Basically right in here is where, and along the trend of this this valley is where the deposit is, near surface, and the gold is right underneath that. There's a lot of information here about the PEA, and so I'm just going to mention a couple of things. This was done last June. It's got a 16-year mine life in this plan. Operating costs are just a little bit over $5 a pound, which, as I mentioned, right now it's about $9 a pound. So we're in a operating profitability there, and recoveries at about 80%. We've done a preliminary economic assessment. We see other opportunities of being able to lower the CapEx and OpEx costs further, which we will do as vanadium prices start to climb into the $9, close to $10 range. I'm going to mention one thing here that I didn't before is the vanadium battery is a redox flow battery that's used for large energy storage for wind and solar. That's become rivaling the lithium battery in that capacity. But there's a new technology for it, a solid state vanadium battery that now has an extremely good application for the EV battery. And this Japanese company contacted me. They're coming for a visit to the property. They're looking for vanadium supply. And they've been talking with European car manufacturers about their new technology, and it's rolling out. So that's a cutting edge opportunity for vanadium to be also in the EV battery sector. That's going to be enormous for vanadium. This is a cost curve of the producers of vanadium around the world, and it's a cost per pound of V2O5, which is our unit. We're sitting down here at about $5 a pound. The operating cost, or right now the current price is way up here. You can see all of these, we're in a very good cost structure in the lower quartile, and that's important in projects in their going forward, that you know that you're very competitive against all these other mines. And so we're sitting in a very good position that way. I'm going to slip to the gold project aspect of it too, because it's extremely exciting. We're in the Carlin Trend. That's highlighted in the red area there. That's over 100 million ounces of gold that have come out of there. And there's another 100 million ounces expected to come out in resources, reserves, and exploration opportunities for Barrick and Newmont really came to being. And we're right in that trend, which is so important. And as I mentioned also, we've got some very good geologists that have made gold deposit discoveries. Think about this, having two geologists that have found 10 gold deposits in their career, working on this project. That is very unique and exceptional for the investor to know they're in good hands. They've made it, these geologists have made accomplishments. And Dave in particular is an authority on the Carlin Trend, who's worked there and made tremendous contributions for Newmont, as well as other juniors like Gold Standard Ventures. That's in our neighborhood. It's only 5 kilometers away from our property. There's a picture of Dave working at our site, at our discovery site of the system. And this is the cross section of, or the long section of the Carlin Trend, the geology. He's, as I mentioned, I could tell you a lot about Dave's history in the belt and his discoveries in it, but we're kind of short on this, but literally made very significant contributions that turned Newmont around and focused on underground high grade, which is where most of the gold is coming out of the Carlin Trend and out of Nevada. And we're going to go to the southern part of the trend, which is where it's highlighted in red. This is our area, and we're highlighted in the red as well. All these red blotches are deposits, and gold mines and deposits, and there's 9 million ounces of gold in and around our property. We're on a north structure. There's north and northwest structures that form the vanadium, the Carlin plumbing system. We're on a master structure, north-south structure. We've just actually announced yesterday that we've acquired another square mile north of us that gives us 3 of 4 square miles of this trend. So that's we building out our opportunity there for folks. Geophysically, there's good elements there as well as geology. This is we've done IP that also has mapped out the root system of this gold system. This is off to the west of where we drilled in hole number 1, where you saw the picture, Dave. This is our gold model, where we're just on the edge of the system. Now we're tapping into the system with the drilling that we're doing right now. It's very exciting. So you can see where the vanadium's up at near surface. The gold is about 300 meters below surface and beyond, and this is where we're looking for high-grade gold. This is the IP anomaly that we have now. It's literally 3.2 kilometers long, but the majority of it, of the really strong aspect of this gold trend, it's about 1.5 kilometers long and 0.5 kilometer wide. That is exceptionally large target, and our drilling now is in that corridor. And we're very excited about the results that we're going to get. And our plans are to start drilling and keep drilling on this and make a discovery this year. That's our plan. So we are the catalysts. There's lots of really good catalysts. We're moving towards acquisitions, key acquisitions, as I mentioned. IP, we've got some results of IP that are going to come out shortly on this new piece of ground that we just acquired, that we announced yesterday. Aggressive drilling on our Carlin project, guided by Dave Mathewson, who's made 6 gold deposit discoveries within 5 to 10 kilometers of our property. So, I mean, what are the chances? This gives us a great opportunity. We're in the right rocks. We're in the same rocks that host the big deposits along Carlin, the Gold Strike and Gold Quarry. These are 40 to 60 million ounce gold deposits. So these are enormous. This is elephant country, and we're right in there. And the size of this anomaly that we see is of the same caliber of something like a gold quarry. So there's great opportunity here for the gold. And of course, on the vanadium side, we're seeing the prices moving up, and so we'll be deploying money into the vanadium project. As I said, it's on the same property above the gold. So this is sort of an interaction of as prices of each work, we can start to deploy money to be as cost effective and biggest bang for our buck for the investor in the vanadium side as well as the gold side. We can play both to our benefits. The vanadium, we can see good opportunities of lowering the capex and opex. It's a great story. It's a very, very good story. We have that's just like to conclude the presentation at this point and open for Q&A.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much for the presentation, Paul. As you mentioned, we'll shift to the Q&A portion here. Attendees, you can feel free to submit questions through the chat, and we do have a couple of questions already. One is shifting to the vanadium side of things. Are there any indications of the vanadium potential on the newly acquired ground to the north?
Possibly, but we haven't really assessed that as yet.
Great.
Yeah, interesting. I just one other thing I would like to mention is the analogy of these other big mines up the Carlin trend is that they're above Gold Quarry and Gold Strike. These are massive mines, gold mines. There were high-grade vanadium deposits over their mines as well. They didn't mine them for vanadium because the vanadium prices were low, so they ended up going on the waste dumps. But interesting analogy that you've got vanadium and gold in their systems as well as ours.
Interesting. Yeah. And one question that I would ask, obviously, the gold target is probably more of an underground mining target. You know, would you envision, this is kind of thinking ahead, but if you do have a gold discovery there, could you have both mines operating, an open pit vanadium mine and an underground gold mine?
Very good question. Yes, that you could. We We envision this to go after the high grade gold opportunity underneath that. So that would, excuse me, likely be an underground opportunity. There's enough distance between the two that you could actually operate simultaneously safely, because the vanadium, you only mine down to about, the pits will only be about 60 meters, 80 meters below surface, where the gold is much deeper. But having said that, if there's enough gold in the whole system that justifies an open pit, then you would have to do it sequentially.
Great.
So there's opportunities or I would say there's no restrictions at this point in one or the other, or simultaneously. Or you could even sell, for example, sell that gold asset to a gold miner and keep the vanadium and mine the vanadium when vanadium prices are good. So you could leverage yourself in a couple of different routes.
Okay, great. One other question here about the newly acquired Section 22 parcel.
Yeah.
What would be the strategy for referring to the square mile in between, which belongs to Barrick and Newmont?
Yeah. Well, right now they're not doing much work in that area. We're basically controlling the pace of this exploration. So I would say that it's very strategic to have them being a part and having a position there. I'd say that it's probably the best fit. If you're going to have a neighbor, they would be the best fit. And if we get a discovery on Section 22 or our Carlin main 2 square miles, then you don't need to. I mean, that's pretty obvious what would happen. They would be. They can't ignore us. We're in their backyard. We're in their neighborhood.
And we have a question here referring to current drilling. When do you anticipate completing the first hole? And then when do you anticipate receiving first assay results?
Yeah, we're moving. We're on the hole. It's so we're making progress on the drilling. We assays. We've been feeding them to the lab so that in a rush fashion, so that we have those results as quickly as possible. So it's always difficult to estimate, but late July, early August is we should be seeing results trickling in. So and because we have an aggressive drill program that should just keep on going, as long as we're getting good fortune in our favor, there'll be lots of results that are spread out through the remainder of the year.
Great. And one question here, kind of circling back to our discussion of both the vanadium and gold. I anticipate, I guess the question is, would this need to be 2 separate distinct plants, or, kind of envisioning what
you could actually, I mean, there's components of the vanadium processing plant that could work for the gold, because depends on obviously the metallurgy of the gold, and yet that's just an early stage. We don't have that information yet, whether it could be refractory or not. But there is an autoclave that's built into the plant for the vanadium. So there are components. You'd have to obviously have some adjustments made to the process, the volumes of the crushing and grinding. But there are definitely components that you could contribute to the gold aspect too.
Great.
You'd add maybe some additional side circuitry.
Great. So one other quick question: what are the long-term plans for West Jerome?
This is it. I haven't had a chance to talk because there's just so much that we do have on the go. West Jerome is a copper project in Arizona that we've been holding on to. Now that copper prices are up, we're looking to dust it off, and so now we've got geophysical work that's being done on it, and by the end of July we should have that we can press release on the anomaly there. We're very well positioned. We're only 2.5 miles away from a granddaddy massive sulfide high-grade copper past producing mine, 30 million tons at 4.5% copper. So we've got really good geology there, geophysics. We are looking to probably spin that into a new company that we would dividend Phenom shareholders and start to finance that on its own, so that we could do it. That would be to the benefit of our shareholders. That's what we can see as a route to take. The timing of it could be by the end of the year, or that's what we're looking at, right? That's our thinking.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much, Paul. That's all we have time for right now. But thank you for the presentation and everyone out there for your questions.